What's going on, guys? It's Jono, and today we're going to be covering Bark.com. I personally made $507,900 in Bark.com in the first year that I used it. It got my company from $0 to $1 million. And I know for a fact that some of you out there watching this, it will be able to do the same for you as well. And for others of you watching this, the competitive landscape in your niche, it's not going to work for. So it's a toss-up. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. But in this particular video today, what we're going to be talking about is the Bark platform, how to leverage it, how to set yourself up for success, what you actually need to do. And I'm going to share for free a workflow that I use that has got me the return that I got. And by the way, as a newsflash, if I wasn't using the workflow that I'm going to give you for free, I would be running away from Bark because it would be so unprofitable. But today we're going to be talking about how you can literally extract the pinnacle amount of success from Bark.com, and it is using the workflow that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. So in Bark.com, this is the platform. It's a pay per lead model. People come in, they inquire for a service, and you as the service provider purchase that lead for a set amount of money, right? Now, the problem is that most people that use Bark.com, they come in, they're like, oh, let's take a look at, the leads. They'll sip their coffee. Oh my gosh, I got a lead from 48 hours ago. They'll call that person and they won't pick up, and they'll be like, why didn't that person pick up? It's because you need to literally call that person within 60 seconds. Like, you have to literally drop everything that you're doing if a lead comes in and call them in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And it's not humanly possible to probably even log into the Bark application within that time, right? Which is why you need a system like the one I'm about to show you right now. In this system, using Zapier, and this is going to be in the description below for free, guys. You can just copy and paste it and leverage it in your business. But as a disclaimer, you're probably going to want to watch this whole video because it's not just about the workflow. That's not going to get you there. You need to understand the psychology and the business use case of this workflow for yourself to be able to leverage it to its maximum capacity. So please continue watching if you want to use something like this. With the first workflow that I'm going to build out here, you purchase a Bark lead immediately. Lead comes in, and 2 seconds later, you purchase it. So first step, lead comes in. Second step, you filter based on all the keywords you don't want that lead to contain. Like, maybe they don't know the service date that they have. Maybe they're saying, hey, I want a really affordable or really cheap or really minimal offering, right? Somebody that's just saying, hey, I don't want to spend a lot of money. Maybe you don't want those leads, so we filter those out. Then you purchase the lead, and then it goes into your CRM for you to call, text, and email. Option number two, and we're going to be going through this much more slowly, but I'm just giving you a quick run through, is the lead comes in and you're like, hey, I'm going to filter out all of these leads, and then I'm going to send myself and my sales team a text message and an email so we can manually quickly review the lead within 20 seconds. We're going to get a form just like this, and then when somebody decides, hey, this is a quality lead, we're going to assign that particular user. And maybe it's just you. Maybe you're a one-person company and you just assign yourself, but you can also assign sales reps as well. Somebody assigns themselves, and once they do that, it's going to trigger the second part of this workflow, where when that form is submitted that you just saw here, it's going to automatically purchase the lead, and then it's going to automatically add that person into your CRM, something kind of like this, so that you can send out automated text messages, you can send out automated emails, and all that kind of stuff to get the results that you want. And before we dive in any further, guys, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you like content just like this, the thumbs up button, and hit the bell icon for notifications. I'm going to be publishing content literally just like this system I'm showing you today, and delivering it for free on a daily basis, because I want you guys to be able to take your business to the next level, automate everything, and massively increase the revenue that you're currently making. And if you guys use the Go High Level link down below, the referral link that I use, I will personally jump on a call with you and help navigate through setting this whole system up for your business. So let's dive into it from the beginning. And just as a disclaimer, guys, I'm not affiliated with Bark by any means. They're not paying me or anything. But Bark, if you are watching this and you decide, hey, you did a good job and you deserve to get rewarded, I did come across this $32 million house. So if you're interested in buying anything from me, this would be a small token of appreciation for all the hard work that I'm doing to make money on your platform. So thank you. Anyways, let's dive into it. So I made $507,900 per year using Bark. Okay, so as an overview, we went through the workflow there, and I want to actually show you guys the analytics from my business, because it's easy to say, hey, I made this much money, but let's actually take a look. I'm gonna dive in and actually show you guys the analytics just so that you can see it yourselves. So I'm gonna go into the settings here and I'm gonna go into billing. Let's see where that is. And this is one of 3 Bark profiles that I have, right? So keep in mind, here's the invoices. You can see all the invoices. There's 20 pages. We can just keep going through these pages. They're $1,360 at a time. And yeah, so anyways, when you tally this all up, I've actually spent well over $100,000 at this point in time, but this is just for last year. So tons and tons and tons of money that I spent here. And specifically, I'm just gonna skip over here. I spent $82,605, right? And from that, I had 254 sales. And I actually purchased 4,890 leads. And from the 4,890 leads, I had a conversion rate of 5.19%, right? So effectively, you have to pick up the phone 20 times to make a sale. And that's a lot of time. And that's a lot of money lost in opportunity costs to call these people. So just keep that in mind. And we're going to be kind of going over that later. Oh, actually, right now, I take that back. So who's Bark for? It's mostly for people usually beginning in a niche and they don't have a lead source. They're looking desperately, not always desperately. Like for my case, I've been using them for years now, but like, usually a lot of people find success early on, right? To get that initial momentum building. They don't have a high overhead cost, right? Or slim profit margins. If your like profit margins are razor thin, Bark, while it does seem like it's affordable at the outset, it's actually a lot more expensive than things like Google Ads, things like SEO, significantly more expensive, like 2, maybe 3 times sometimes more expensive, because while it's cheap, you have to call 20 or 30 people. My conversion rate for other metrics is just significantly higher, right? And the last thing is you got to be okay with contacting a lot of people, because you're going to be spending more time selling Bark leads than any other leads. And there's going to be a certain level of unqualified and fake leads. And if you do go online, you literally type in bark.com, you're going to see a million threads about this. And yes, there are some leads that are fake, of course. There are some leads that are unqualified, of course, but there's also some leads that are fantastic, right? And you have to factor that into the pricing, right? And for some businesses, that just might not work for your business model. And in my case, I had certain geographical locations, because we're across Canada and in the States. I had locations that it was perfect for. And then I had other locations or other services that it just didn't work for. So I had to cut off those locations, cut off those services, and go with other regions instead, right? So it doesn't always work, and it certainly didn't always work for me. Now, how does Bark actually get these leads, right? So Bark goes through quite a few different lead channels, and I'm not listing all of them out here, but I'm just gonna list a couple. They run Google Ads, right? And they're probably your direct competitor on Google Ads, which means that you're having a bidding war, which is driving the price up for both of you guys. So they're running Google Ads as well. But the thing is they're also targeting a lot of keywords that you probably would never want to target in the first place. So when you type in things like cheap service, right? Or affordable service, all the things that you're like, man, I don't want to service that person because I'm going to lose money doing that. Those are a lot of the leads that they're going after. It's not always the case, but in a lot of the time that is, right? And that's how they can drive the price down for themselves and the leads up, to give the appearance that they're generating a lot of leads while also not spending a lot of money. So that's that. Now SEO, they also do a lot of SEO. I'm actually gonna come over here and show you guys. So with bark.com in the worldwide, they have 1.6 million organic search hits every single month. It's been pretty consistent, but it's been going up over the years. And they also have 45,500 targeted ad spend. And this is probably substantially lower than what they're actually spending, but that's just what SEMrush is telling us right here. And then the rest they're getting through direct traffic. People already know Bark, and then they're repurposing the same lead. They're saying, hey, this lead inquired 2 weeks ago. They didn't find somebody. Let's shuffle them to the top and let's get people to buy a lead that they previously didn't claim, right? So they do that as well. And this is just kind of speculation, but I think they just purchased a lot of leads through third-party service providers. So they'll just have like people that set up websites or whatever and inquire about that service, and they'll sell that off to Bark, and Bark will repurpose that and sell it to you. I don't actually know if that's the case or not, but the only reason I say that is because when I actually look at Bark, we are the biggest player in the DJ space in Canada, and you can see the keyword overlap here. It's pretty much on par. We it's once again pretty much on par for search traffic and the amounts of keywords that we're ranking for versus Bark. And also, if you look at Google Ads as well, we actually have a larger impression share, substantially larger than Bark.com. But we generated last month 81 leads for the month, and Bark generated about 13 leads per day, which is about 5 times as many leads as we're personally generating ourselves. So if they're not getting it necessarily from Google Ads, and they're also not getting it from SEO, so they're probably getting it from third-party sources like what I just mentioned. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, analytics, we just went over this. This is kind of the analytics that I got. In terms of analytics for Google Ads, SEO, typically speaking, the conversion rate here is about 2 times the amount. So if you can use Google Ads, if you can use SEO, it's going to be better off for you. You're going to make more money in the long term. Now let's talk about the strategy here, right? So how do you want to maximize the results that you actually get using Bark.com, right? So let's just walk through the basic points here, because if you master these, you're going to set yourself up for success. If you're not doing this, then it's going to be substantially harder or impossible to get the return that you are looking for using Bark.com. But it's a great lead source, guys, because you can still get we are getting 50 leads a day from Bark.com. We chiseled that down to maybe 10 by filtering, but let's go through these one by one. Only purchase the highest quality leads. So we were getting 50 a day, but we filtered that down to maybe 10, right? And of the 10 that we get, we have a system where we manually check everyone and we don't call everyone. If the lead doesn't sound good, or if we're late to the party, or if they inquire at 3 a.m., we're not calling them, right? So it's as simple as that. If you're in a competitive niche like SEO or like digital marketing, and all the high quality leads are automatically getting purchased, well, then I would be automatically purchasing the highest quality leads myself. And what both of these points really draw to as a conclusion is you have to filter out any leads with bad keywords such as cheap, affordable, small, breaking the bank, all of that kind of stuff. And there's 2 ways that we can do this, right? So the first way is we're going to come back into Bark here, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go down to the services that we offer here, okay? And let's just take a look at some of the customization we can have. So in the customization, I, for example, only want 2 specific leads. So when somebody inquires for a DJ, I don't want a bar mitzvah DJ. It's probably the price points or the budget is too low. Same thing with a birthday party, or an engagement party, or a quinceanera, or a school, college, or prom, or a sweet 16, or another. All of those are just gonna be people with lower budgets than what we can work with, right? So it's really important not just to go after every single lead, right? And that seems pretty obvious, right? It's like, well, obviously I don't want to go after the leads that aren't going to make me money, right? But the not so obvious part about this is that Bark doesn't give you all of the functionality that you need to make the right filtering choices for yourself. So for example, if I go into wedding DJ, I can't even filter based on whether somebody has picked a date or not. They'll ask, the client when they're filling out the form, hey, do you have a date for the wedding? And they'll say, no, I don't. And then Bark won't give you the functionality to say, hey, I'm not interested in people that don't have a date for their wedding, which is really, really stupid, obviously. And Bark, you should change that if you're watching this, because I've been talking to your sales reps literally 5 times. I had my account manager on the phone 5 times and you guys never changed anything. Anyways, definitely you want to filter this, okay? So what you end up doing is you come into Zapier, and this is going to be for free down below. In this filtering step, you want to make sure that you filter out all the results you don't want. So when you get a new lead in Zapier or in Bark, right? And you can see by going over to the test, and you can see all the information here. If you type in display text, it's actually going to, I guess this is HTML, right? So you can kind of see like approximately how many guests is this for, 50 to 99. And if I just type in date, it's going to say, what is the date of your wedding, right? And it says unsure. Well, we don't want this lead, right? So we need to make sure in the filtering options that with the display text, it doesn't include the keywords that we don't want. So we don't want something if it says, what is the date, the wedding? What is the date of the wedding? Unsure. Oh, of course, we want to filter that out. And the other scary thing is that they don't have a standardized way of asking the same questions. So they'll ask the same question in 7 or 8 different ways, right? So what is the date of your wedding? Unsure. What date would you like the DJ? Not sure. What is the date of your wedding? Not sure. What date would you like the DJ? Unsure. So the answers change. It could be not sure, it could be unsure, but you have to filter out both of those. What date is the wedding? Unsure. What would you like? What date would you like the photographer? Unsure. So there's like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different ways of saying the same thing. What is the date of your wedding? Not sure. And then if we just kind of go down, we also want to remove keywords like breaking the bank or cheap or affordable or inexpensive or low budget or lower cost, budget, minimal, small, break the bank, 1 hour, 2 hours, hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. And you can see the different formatting, $1,000 for me, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 45 minutes. So you need to go through all of the leads that you're getting and essentially add in all of those keywords that you do not want to target, you don't want to get leads for, right? So that's one of the most important parts of this workflow is you make sure to filter out any keywords. And this is going to take time. By the way, because I'm giving you this for free, this is like $80,000 worth of, and of course you could do it probably in like $1,000 or $2,000 or even less worth of like results coming in. But this took me a long time to figure this out and map out all of these keywords. And this has significantly reduced the low quality leads that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. The only leads that are really coming to me at this point in time are the highest quality leads that I'm actually interested in calling from bark.com. So that is how you can use filtering. The next thing is you have to call within 60 seconds. So that's what this whole workflow is about, right? This whole workflow is about you getting notified instantaneously and having a call and a text message come out to you with the client's phone number, and you click on that and then you call, right? So if we kind of zoom out to this workflow, it's just going to tell you the person's information and then you give them a call, right? And ideally with this workflow as well, you'd plug it into a CRM like Go High Level, and Go High Level and Lead Connector are the same thing. Lead Connector is a white labeled way of saying Go High Level so that people can repurpose it and sell it for themselves. But you can plug it into a system like this, and this is Go High Level right now, and you can send text messages automatically within like 5 seconds, within 10 seconds to that person. You can send emails within 5 seconds, 10 seconds to that person. You can automatically schedule a call. Like check this out, call. You can automatically click this and then it's gonna call you and the client within 10 seconds. You're gonna be on the call within 10 seconds. I can even log into the Bark platform in 30 seconds because they're like, please verify your identity. And then they ask me some stupid question that takes like 30 seconds to get in. So, so this is a really fast way to circumvent that and just get to that lead as quickly as possible, right? And then the next thing here is you want to double dial, right? So when you call a lead, you don't want to just call it once, you want to call it twice. And then they'll likely pick up more often than not on the second dial than the first dial, because whenever somebody gets a dial from a 10-digit unknown number, they're probably not going to pick it up just because there's so many calls coming inbound every single day. But this is just a great way to kind of cut through that noise. Or you could do branded caller ID in the States. That's a really good option. In Canada, there's not anything that's super affordable that exists right now for that. But if I was in the States, I'd definitely be using branded caller ID. And then have an automated system that you can set up and feed these leads into so that you can automatically send emails, text messages, all of that kind of stuff to the lead, right? This will also be included down below so that you can use it immediately as well. And let's just see here. Also, you probably want to send out an automated proposal. This one is way harder to do, But this is just like a kind of a pointer just to give you guys some perspective. When I inquire within the first 60 seconds, I'm sending somebody a proposal. This is all custom coded, but this gives them a nice overview of what our business looks like, right? They have videos on what it looks like. They have standard music on what they could be looking for. Pricing options are different, what we provide that either our competitors do provide or they don't provide. And then a quick little video about us and our team and our full-time team and our client testimonials that they can keep loading for ages, the companies we work with, frequently asked questions. So if you have something like this is going to really help you stand above the edge and really maximize on all those leads that you're getting from Bark as well. And then analytics. The last thing is that you just got to be tracking analytics with something like this. And if you're following my channel, I have a video on how you can build out a system just like this. And you can track what works and what doesn't work. You could track the keywords in Bark, right? You could really track every single granular thing, put it in here in real time and be able to review which campaigns are working, which campaigns are not working. And the faster you do that, you can cut out the campaigns on Bark that are losing you money and you can optimize for the campaigns that are making you money. So that's essentially it. Now let's dive into the final section of this, which is this actual workflow. And for those of you guys who are returning to my channel, you're probably wondering why the hell are you using Zapier instead of Make.com? And the reason I'm using Zapier instead of Make.com is that while Make.com is better in every single way, actually here's a perfect analogy of Zapier versus Make.com. This is Make.com and this is Zapier. I actually generated this using ChatGPT, but Make.com is just far superior in every single way, almost. But the reason I'm using Zapier is because this is the only integration using Bark out of hundreds that I use that doesn't have a webhook integration or a native integration into Make.com. They have to use Zapier. You have to use Zapier if you want to build this out. And that is why I still am subscribed to Zapier, and that is why I still use Zapier. Okay, awesome. And okay, so just kind of circling back here with this workflow, we're going to wait for new leads to come in. We're going to filter based on the leads that we actually want. We can purchase it and then we can add it straight to the CRM. So that is workflow number one, which is immediate, right? So that's pretty cool. So if you want to just purchase the lead, you don't want to filter it, you don't want to have a manual step, you can just go ahead and do that. And then for the second workflow here, and I've annotated this so you guys, when you go through it, you can set it up very easily. When a lead comes in, it's gonna do the same filtering criteria. It's gonna send you a text message or an email. When you get that text message or an email, there will be a link that you can click in that message, right? It will direct you over to a page just like this, where you can select the sales rep and then submit and then claim that lead. Now there's one thing in here that is worth noting, and that is this Bark field here, which is currently hidden on the form, but there is a reference ID here, right? And this is super critical that you have the reference ID down here and this field is hidden. The reason why is because when you get that new lead coming in, right, you're gonna send out a text message and an email. And in this email that you send out, you have this URL parameter here, which passes in the ID of that Bark lead, right? So if I was to do, as an example, URL parameter here, and I say Bark ID equals 1234 and press enter, it will automatically enter in that ID into the field here because it's finding the field with the reference ID, Bark ID, which it finds in the URL, and it passes the value of that into the field here. And why that's important is because when you complete this form with the Bark ID and click submit, it's going to trigger the second part of this workflow where you're gonna need that ID to be able to reference to purchase the Bark lead, right? So you pass in that ID from the form into this step so that when you go to purchase that Bark lead, you know exactly which Bark lead you're purchasing. And then moving forward, you can essentially add this into Go High Level or whatever CRM you're using so that you can automatically send text messages and emails to that particular person. Just one extra step here, guys, and that is that if you have multiple sales reps, you're gonna wanna use something like a lookup table here, where in the specific case of Go High Level, you have this lookup value, which is the sales rep's name. So when you submit this form, you enter in the sales rep name, and it's going to look up which name it is. So it's either going to be John Smith or Richard Anderson. I just made both these names up right now, but you can see John Smith or Richard Anderson. And depending on who it is, we're going to enter in the ID associated with that person and go high level, right? So that when we come down to the next step here, where we want to add an assigned user onto that particular lead based on who claimed the lead on the form, then we can pass in, where is it? Assigned user. Here we go. So assigned user, we can click custom here, and then we will just put the output here, right? So it will assign the user to that lead based on their ID, right? So if you have sales reps in your CRM, they'll have their name, but there's always going to be an ID associated with that person so that you can identify who it is. We're just identifying the sales rep here based on their internal ID at Go High Level, and then assigning them to that particular lead. And that is essentially it. And if you wanted to, you could have another step down here to assign them into the workflow so that they automatically send text messages and emails right away. So that is essentially everything that I want to discuss in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe down below. And if you guys have questions, or if you want to have future ideas on what I could post for future videos, leave them in the comments down below. And by the way, if you do end up using my Go High Level affiliate link down below to set this up, then I will personally jump on a call with you and help set this system up in part. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.